So, welcome everybody. This is the Living in Bliss channel. We're reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, commented and translated by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The founder of the Hare Krishna movement. We're reading every day one shloka. We've been doing this since 2017, I believe. No? Even before? That was 2017. Yeah. We started, so now we've covered 15 chapters in those 2 years. And we will slowly finish the Bhagavad Gita. So if you stick around, if you watch every day, then you can make tremendous spiritual progress. If you read this Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada says it is guaranteed that you become a devotee. So don't try to miss any class. We're reading from the 15th chapter, text number 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Uttama Purushastu Anya
Uttama Purushastvanya.
Paramatmeti Udahrita
Paramatmeti Udarita.
Yoloka Trayam Avishya
Yolokatrayam Avishya.
Vibharti Avyaya Ishvaraha
Vibharti Avyaya Ishvara. Uttama Purushastvanya.
Uttama Purushastanya
Paramatmeti Udarita.
Paramatmeti Udahrita
Yolokatrayam Avishya.
Yoloka Trayam Avishya
Vibharti Avyaya Ishvara.
Vibharti Avyaya Ishvaraha
Uttama Purushastvanya
Uttama Purushastanya
Paramatmeti Udarita
Paramatmeti Udahrita
Yolokatrayam Avishya
Yolokatrayam Avishya
Vibharti Avyaya Ishvara
Vibharti Avyaya Ishvaraha
Uttama Purushastvanya
Uttama Purushastanya
Parameti Udrahita
Paramatmeti Udahrita
Yolokatrayam Avishya
Yolokavyayam Avishya
Vivarti Avyaya Ishvara
Vibharti Avyaya Ishvaraha.
Well, because I don't have my glasses, so I don't
Oh,
see.
sorry. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Uttamaha,
Uttama.
the best.
The best.
Purushaha,
Purusha.
personality.
Personality.
Two,
Two.
but.
But.
Anyaha,
Anyaha.
another.
Another.
Param,
Param.
the supreme.
The supreme.
Atma,
Atma.
self.
Self.
Iti,
Iti.
thus.
Thus.
Udahritaha,
Udarita.
said.
Said.
Yaha,
Yaha.
one who.
One who.
Loka,
Loka.
of the universe.
Of the universe.
Trayam,
Trayam.
the three divisions.
The three divisions.
Avishya,
Avishya.
entering.
Entering.
Vibharti,
Vibharti.
maintaining.
Maintaining.
Avyaya,
Avyaya.
inexhaustible.
Inexhaustible.
Ishvaraha,
Ishvara.
the Lord.
The Lord.
Translation. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. This verse is very nicely expressed in the Katha Upanishad and Shrata Shavatara Upanishad. It is clearly stated there that above the innumerable living entities, some of whom are conditioned and some of whom are liberated, there is the Supreme Personality who is Paramatma. The Upanishadic verse runs as follows. Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The purport of this verse is that amongst all the living entities, both conditioned and liberated, there is one supreme living personality, or the supreme personality of Godhead, who maintains them and gives them all the facility of enjoyment according to different work. That supreme personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. A wise man who can understand him is eligible to attain the perfect peace, not others. Therefore, it is never useful to think of the Supreme Lord and the living entities as being on the same level or equal in all respects. The difference of superiority and inferiority in personalities always remains. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Jnanajana Shalakayam Chakshunanaminitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master's divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. The impersonalists think that we're all gods, that there is no difference between the living entities. They're all gods. Their philosophy is that somehow, by some accident, Brahman has come under the influence of Maya. And under the influence of illusion, the Brahman is seeing the reality as full of varieties. He sees it divided. This is me, this is you, this is him, this is harmonium, this is... They think that this is illusion. To differentiate between different objects is illusion. Ultimately, everything should become one, the ugly oneness. It must be ugly, because there's no variety. Just like if you take different colors, if you ever painted, then you know, you squeeze out the paint, yellow, green, red, violet, blue, whatever. And then you mix them all together. Is it a very nice color? Looks horrible. Gray, brownish, kind of looking like stool almost. So that is not the beauty. The beauty is variety. Ananda means variety. Ananda is pleasure. You are made of pleasure. The soul is full of pleasure. So this is a great faux pas on the side of the impersonalists. The greatest fools. The greatest fools. Prabhupada gives this example of a jackal. Jackal in the orchard. You know this example? Jackal.
What is orchard?
Orchard. Orchard is like a garden. Garden.
Ah, yeah, fruit tree garden. Yes. And now I remember what you're talking about.
Okay, so there's grape in the garden. Right? You know the grape, the fruit, grapes. Yes. So he sees the grapes. Wow, nice grapes. Let me try. So he's jumping, and he cannot. His legs are short. Tiny little jackal. So instead of admitting, oh, I cannot reach them, he says, well, they're sour. They're sour anyway. This is how he justifies his failure. So in the same way, the impersonalists, being completely frustrated, burned out from material sense gratification, we're trying to enjoy the varieties, but without Krishna. We're running after the temporary varieties. In one sense, it is true. In the Bible, it is said that you are dust, and dust you will become. Right? You are dust, and then you will become again dust. So from the material point of view, yeah, this is all one matter, manifesting as different varieties temporarily. So the impersonalists, they try to enjoy these temporary forms and they become frustrated. So it's like love. There's love. The girl loves the boy loves the girl. And in the beginning of the relationship, everything is nice and sweet. So lots of nice feelings and exchanges, and it's very fresh. But in due course of time, the love will evaporate. There's sex life, there are children, there's problems, everything is exhausted. You have a credit of pleasure in family life, and that is exhausted. Then what remains in that relationship, I do not know. Unless there's Krishna consciousness, it is very difficult, especially nowadays in Kali Yuga. All the relationships are broken. For the time being, I love you. For the time being, you are my Lord and Master. For the time being, I am your servant. But in due course, all the relationships are broken. So the impersonalists, they become frustrated. No more relationships. No more love. What is this love? Nonsense. Only foolish person is falling in love. This is Maya. Become very bitter. And very much they like to criticize. Neti, 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 neti. It means not this, not this. The Maya bodies, impersonalists, they have this sadhana. They explain, they analyze the material creation and they try to ascertain what is actually Brahman. It's a mosquito. It just drank my blood and he fainted out of ecstasy. I suppose so much blood it took from my head. So they become very, very bitter, just like that jackal. Oh, the grapes are sour. Oh, you want to take grapes? Oh, they're sour. You foolish. You're running after sour grapes. Actually, the grapes are not sour. They're sweet. But you must know the method how to enjoy the grapes. Similarly, relationships or love is not a false concept. It is real. But you must know the process. You must love through Krishna. You must enjoy through Krishna. And you must develop relationships with Krishna in the center. There's another example with the circles. Does anybody know about the circles? How Prabhupada explains. If you put Krishna in the center. Does anybody remember this analogy? Very important analogy.
Very nice analogy.
Huh?
Very beautiful.
Very beautiful analogy. Krishna Kishore, you know? In the Ishopanishad. What Prabhupada says. Okay. We have different circles of interest. You know, I want nice prasadam. I want nice dhoti. I want this. I want that. So many things we want. You want something else. Everyone has a different set of desires. Everyone's circle is different. So if we put Krishna in the center of my circle, not myself, but I put Krishna there, then we can draw so many circles around that center point. So many circles we can draw. They will never cross each other. There will never be a conflict. Right? But if you remove Krishna, you put yourself as a center. Then some other fool will put himself in the center. And there's going to be another foolish person who's going to put himself in the center. Then you have all these different circles of influence crossing over one another. Hey, don't touch it, that's mine. Oh, you took my money. Oh, you live in my house. We become so much selfish and so many conflicts. If people understood this thing, that Krishna is the center of everything, there will be complete harmony, complete peace. All the problems will be solved. Actually, there are no problems. Whatever you're destined to get, you will get. Don't worry. And whatever you're supposed to lose, if someone robs you or you lose money, or that is supposed to happen also by your karma. Don't lament. Don't be elated. Two things. If you overly celebrate, yes, 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 very attached. You think I'm the doer. I'm working hard and then I get money. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a competition, like a dog. I'm the best. Don't do that. When you get something, you thank Krishna. It is only because of your mercy. Be humble. And then when the money is taken, you'll be equipoised. It is Krishna's money. Krishna has taken from me. I am not eligible. That is good. Krishna knows what is good. I don't know anything. Krishna knows what to be done. You put your faith in Krishna. Don't try to interfere. That you cannot interfere. You think, I can change my destiny, and you're simply wasting your time. Don't waste your time. Accept it and chant Hare Krishna. Don't waste your time changing your destiny. Chant Hare Krishna. There is so much to do, so much service to be done, so much purification to be done, so many books to be read, so much chanting to be done, so much preaching to be done, so many nice meals to be prepared for Lord Jagannath. Don't waste your time trying to find happiness in these temporary relationships. There is none. It's like looking for satisfaction of thirst in a desert. You're very thirsty. You're dying out of thirst. And you're looking in the desert. Is there a water? And someone gives you, yes, I give you water. Here's one drop for you. Will you be satisfied? No. So material pleasure is like that. One drop. Then it's over. So we want to experience, we want to attain the platform of eternal happiness, Ananda. So that is in connection with Krishna. With Krishna. Everything must be centered around Krishna. If you become forgetful of Krishna, immediately the Maya is there, immediately the duality. My interest has been violated. My desire was not fulfilled. I had this plan and it was not executed. We become so much disturbed. Prahlad Maharaj, he says, even you might have an expert doctor, expert physician, he cannot save the patient. If the patient is supposed to die, the doctor cannot do anything. Prabhupada mentioned this man. He was on his deathbed. And the doctor came and this man was asking him, please doctor, can you give me extra 3 years of life? Because I have so many projects still to accomplish. So many businesses I have to execute. Can you give me extra 4 years of life? So Prabhupada says, that damn fool, he doesn't understand the doctor, what he can do, doctor. It is destined. You must go. Finished. Finito. Tata dehantara prapti. Now you change the body. That's it. Go. You cannot hesitate. Prabhupada mentioned this. President Kennedy, such a young man. He was relatively young president in his 40s or so. Such a successful man, such a rich man, such a famous man, on the top president of the United States. But when the time came, the bullet came, and he had to go. So Prabhupada says, you cannot hesitate. You cannot hesitate. That's it. You must go. So this is important. Not my so-called plans and so-called happiness in this world. So happiness, you establish some happiness, then you die. Everything is finished. Everything is taken away from you. What is the use of that? We're building a sandcastle. I always say this, but I see it again because it's a wonderful example. The children are playing and make a sandcastle. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then the wave comes, it's over, it's gone. Why are you struggling so hard? The wave is coming, it's taking everything away. You build the permanent sandcastle in the spiritual world. This is it. This bhajan, this chanting, this hearing, this worship, this preaching, everything we do here. We're building a permanent sandcastle in the spiritual world where we can all move. After we leave this body, we move back home, back to Godhead. This is the proposal Srila Prabhupada is giving. Back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada says this many times. Back home, back to Godhead. So, this is a foolish theory that we all one, we all God, we have simply forgotten. It is a perversion of the truth. The impersonalists are very close. They understand, yes, this material world is illusion. In one sense, it is true. But illusion can only exist if there is reality. You follow? You can only have a son if there is a father. You can only have a mother if there is a daughter. You can only have a sister if there's brother. Right? So if there is illusion, there must be reality. What is that reality? Krishna. Krishna consciousness. Eternal relationships. Eternal love. Eternal happiness. Eternal pleasure. That is possible. This is what we're looking for in this world. We're being bewildered by the material relationships, material love. Because it so much resembles the spiritual love. Sometimes it is very difficult to distinguish what is what. When Krishna appears here and he performs his pastimes, they seem very ordinary. God is taking care of cows. He's going to take cows to the pasturing ground, plowing the field. Balaram is the plow. So he's plowing the fields, and these are seemingly very ordinary activities. Especially now when people are so crazy about technology. They will be very shocked. Well, this is what God is doing. And God is supposed to have the best iPhone. Oh, he's supposed to be the coolest. They think like that. This is the perfection. So Krishna is not into this nonsense, Maya. He is into rasa, into relationships, into love. That is the advancement of consciousness. How much you can love, how much you can reciprocate different feelings of love. So in the spiritual world, it's nothing but love, pure love, love of Krishna. So that love we have to understand. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, he warns. The love for Krishna is just like gold. And the love in the material world, lust, is just like iron. Like not just iron, but rusty iron. You can't compare gold and rusty iron. So that we have to distinguish. What is sense gratification? Sometimes even in the name of Krishna consciousness, we're indulging in sense gratification. And sometimes it becomes very difficult to distinguish. So the Paramatma helps us. If we chant sincerely, if you chant Hare Krishna, you must chant sincerely with feeling, not mechanically, eating the syllables. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, be careful about this. Also, don't sleep while you're doing your japa. That is very dangerous. Because when you're sleeping, that means you're not attentive. You're being carried away by your desires. In the sleep, all our desires are activated. Whatever desire you have, sometimes you dream, and that desire you fulfill in a dream. So when you're chanting and you're sleeping, you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're watering that material desires. Krishna is like a double-edged sword. Spiritual life is like a double-edged sword. If you do not make the proper discrimination, you might actually become deviated. Instead of cultivating spiritual life, instead you become more materialistic. That is also stated. If you're not guided properly, if you are serving in a whimsical way without following the instructions properly, instead of elevating yourself, the opposite effect is achieved. So, this is crucial that we understand what is this impersonalism, because in one sense we all have this contamination. That's why we have come here into this world, because we want to be artificial gods. So we all have this weakness of the heart. So we must know about it, and we must be humble. I am not perfect. I am still such a nonsense. It is not a false humility. I am so fallen. No, scientifically you must understand why you're so fallen, why you're in illusion, why you're greedy. All these sinful activities, sinful desires and nonsense, mundane attitudes, this is simply the consequence of that original envious desire. I want to be God. I want to be the enjoyer. I want to be the center. Not why Krishna. Krishna I kick out. Me. This is how we think. So the more you analyze, the more you realize, I see, this is how much more work I have to do in Krishna consciousness. And then you become humble. That is a real humility. When you understand, yes. And when you understand, then you develop great enthusiasm to practice Krishna consciousness. That is the enthusiasm. That you understand your position. Just like, you might have been doing Harinam outside now when it's such a warm, hot weather. You become all sweaty and dirty, the body. So when you come back to the temple, you become very enthusiastic to take a nice, refreshing shower. You become very enthusiastic. Because you understand, I am so dirty. So this is individually, everyone should understand. So I am not such a perfect person as I thought. Everything I do is simply for my sense gratification. In devotee association, this is exposed. So when it happens, don't shy away. It is natural. Don't feel guilty about this. It's okay. We're all realizing this by serving together, and how much more humble we have to be. Sometimes the greedy mentality it exhibits, or controlship mentality, it overflows. We have no control, it just overflows, and we say something nonsense or we do something nonsense. So in devotee association, it becomes immediately exposed, because devotees are aspiring to give up such traits. Just like if you put black and white next to each other, the black is more black, the white is more white. There's a contrast, right? In a non-devotee association, there's no reaction. You can't see, because non-devotees are nothing but cultivating the controlship propensity, lusty desires. So this is all they're looking for. If I'm attracted to non-devotee association, that means that I also want to cultivate those kind of desires. Those who don't want to surrender, those who do not want to associate with devotees, they have a different desire. They want to stay in this material world, develop many desires so they can continue their material existence. So anyway, we have to do this. Then when we have realization or our fallen position, our sadhana becomes more fixed up. We need enthusiasm. It is not a hobby, Krishna consciousness. I do it, I don't do it, doesn't matter. You must take it up very, very seriously. Okay, so any questions? Yes?
Well, you said in the lecture that you shouldn't sleep while you are chanting.
Yeah.
And then you said that, or otherwise Krishna is like double sword. Can you please more explain this double sword?
Double-edged sword. Like, for example, you can use a knife for cutting when there's an operation. You have tumor, you can use it in a nice way. But that same knife you can use to kill someone. So depending on how you use your sadhana, the result will be different.
Sadhana.
The spiritual practice, japa, chanting, like that. The intention is important also. Not just simply I do like a robot, like a dogmatically. Well, now let me do it, okay, I did my thing, leave me alone. That will not be fruitful. That is also not bad, because somehow we're chanting, but we have to advance also in this chanting. We have to consciously chant with the purpose of developing our love for Krishna.
Okay.
Right? Yes,
She says that if sometimes the super self can, if somebody is practicing Krishna consciousness, the super self could deviate that person. I mean, to make that person to deviate from the path.
No, Krishna is not such a rascal that he will deviate us. But if you have a rascal desire, then Krishna will help you to accomplish that desire. Krishna will give you intelligence. Prabhupada says, if you want to be a devotee, I don't remember exactly how Prabhupada said it, but he said that if you want to forget Krishna, Krishna will give you the intelligence that you will never remember Krishna again. It's up to you. It's up to you. Krishna is looking what type of desire you have. He's trying to enlighten you, but ultimately you have free will. And if you decide, I want to forget Krishna, Krishna will give you the intelligence how to become a non-devotee. That is also Krishna. And this is not that he's evil, but it is just like a child is nagging the father. Father, 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 I want to touch fire. I want to touch fire. Are you crazy? Why do you want to touch fire? I want to touch fire. I want to touch fire. Okay, go and touch. Ah! There is no other hope. There is no other way. The child is insisting. I want, I want, I want. So when he goes into Maya, the devotee, when he goes to Maya, again, he's bounced back to Krishna. Just like that child, he touches the fire, then he realizes, I'm such a nonsense. So both ways, Krishna is teaching. Directly, through Bhagavad Gita, spiritual master, through the practice, and so on, so on. Or indirectly, through Maya. That is also Krishna's trick. Maya gives us chastisements, so we come to our senses. So if you want to forget Krishna, Krishna will not forget you, but you will delay your advancement. It might take a few lifetimes until we come back to Krishna. Actually, Osta Prabhu, yesterday, he sent me a nice purport from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says that just like for the animals, there is no sin. Similarly, for the low-class people like Shudras, when they commit sinful activities, it is not taken as seriously. And then he adds that better that they indulge, so they become disgusted, and then they become purified. And we're discussing it a little bit with Osta Prabhu. He gave his realization, I gave my realization of this purport. So, I said that this is provided the people don't want to be preached to. They're very determined, I want to be a rascal. So we should let them burn out, let them indulge so they can come to the position of a disgust. You can't enjoy forever. There's a bhog, there's tyak, there's enjoyment, there's renunciation. They're both part of the material life. Not that simply people are enjoying, they're also renouncing. That is also materialism. They take a break. So better that they burn out and they take a break after in Krishna consciousness than disturbing their minds. Then Prabhupada actually quoted that shloka from the Bhagavad Gita that better one should perform his duty perfectly than to perform others' duty imperfectly. Sorry, the other way around. Better that one performs his duty imperfectly than to follow another's duty perfectly. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. Alright.
¿Y qué pasa con los sacerdotes que están haciendo un servicio pero no piensan en Krishna? O sea, no lo hacen pensando, oh, es para Krishna.
Oh, Jagannath Prabhu says that you should answer his call that the car is ready, the van.
The question
Yes.
I'm gonna combine two
Okay,
questions
okay.
is kind of the same. How to distinguish when you are doing something for sense gratification in the name of Krishna? Because it seems to be like very difficult to perceive.
Yeah. I think you asked this question already. But it's a good question. Oops. So we have to study the teachings, what Srila Prabhupada says, what the spiritual master says. Prabhupada explains everything in his books. If you read the books, then there's no chance that you'll be misguided. Prabhupada gives everything, whatever we need to know, it is there. Whatever you need to avoid, Prabhupada says, yeah, you avoid this. If you follow strictly, there'll be no problem. But if you're not serious, if you're not interested sufficiently, then you might be misguided. Also, it is very important to associate with devotees. Always associate with devotees. Devotee association, as I said before, these misconceptions are exposed. It is so important for spiritual advancement to associate with devotees. For all of us, for me included. For me, for Makanchur, for you, for Timo, everyone. Everyone. It is very nourishing. Because in the association, we'll learn how to serve in a humble way. If you're alone, what you can serve? It's very difficult to render devotional service, right? Even cooking, you cook, well, you cook for yourself, you cook for Krishna, okay, but you distribute to yourself. The serving prasadam, we're cultivating a humble attitude, devotional attitude. Oh, I am not God. I see, okay, I have to serve the devotees. So read the books, associate with like-minded devotees. The devotees are nonsense also, then you reject the like-minded devotees. Then you will never be deviated. Prabhupada said, my disciples, they don't read my books, that I don't like this. He said many times, he complained, you're not reading the books. And we could see the result. See, you see. Palena parichete, you judge the tree by the fruit. Prabhupada complains, you're not reading the books. He even warned, if you don't read the books, this movement will be finished within a few years. And that's what happened. So we must read the books. Read the books or hear the class, read the letters, somehow associate with Prabhupada constantly. Even if you have read it, even if you understand, yeah, we're not this body. No, hear it again. It's not about learning something. It's about hearing, associating with Prabhupada. He's reminding us, you're not this body. Remember, you're not this body, you're not this body, you're not this body. We need to remind ourselves. Don't be envious. Oh, I have heard this, I know this. Not anymore. I want something new. Some variety. Variety is mother of enjoyment. Don't be so foolish. Sometimes devotees, they read the books of Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, 6 Goswamis, the 3 Vedas and this. Because they don't want to hear. It's almost like a contradiction. They are reading the books because they don't want to read from Prabhupada. Prabhupada gives exactly the medicine for us, for this time, place and circumstances. It gives the dosage, concentrated injection. But it's a very bitter medicine. That's why people don't want to read. They even read one time the books and then they give up. Let me do something else. It's too much to hear. You either hear and surrender, or you have to give up hearing. There's no other way. So, yeah, many factors combined together. Associating with devotees, reading, hearing from the Mahabhagavat, being sincere, and following instructions strictly. Rising early, chanting 16 rounds, like that. Chanting attentively, not sleeping. Very important. I have compiled this book. It's called Punar Mushukabhava. It's on the inbliss.org. So that whole book is about deviation. How the deviation happens in stages. What are the consequences? How to rectify. Now you can read that in your spare time if you want. And yeah, any other questions?
Well,
Yes.
like a comment.
Yes.
I think
Sorry, Prabhu. I'm going to pick the card.
Okay.
And there was when you were reading in the last portion, like 2 or 3 sentences were not in this Gita.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
so. I think I got yesterday discharged by Krishna because I was
Chastised.
yes because
That's it.
I was walking in the street and instead of